the Palestinian resistance is using with the well-equipped army, one of the most powerful armies in the world, Israel, and they're using missiles that burned the bodies. And I can tell you, and I can tell all the American people listening to this interview, that they're using the missiles that they're burning the bodies, and it can make a smell. It smells really bad here. It smells like if you are like making barbecue actually in a house. It is actually, but this is not this is not a cow. This is not beef. This is a human being's flesh. It's scattered in the streets, so they can smell this smell awfully, and this also beside the sewage system, which smells bad as well. I'm receiving news here from one of my colleagues here, and he says that the Israeli warships also in the eastern, in the western part of the Rafah refugee camp, in the southern Gaza Strip, are firing rockets towards the fishermen and towards the houses of civilians. We're not sure if there are casualties, but they are confirming that the tanks in the north are launching rockets, and the Israeli warships in the south are also launching missiles towards the fishermen and the civilians' houses.
Mohammed Omer, do these attacks strengthen Hamas?
I'm not sure if I can hear you because it's quite noisy here.
Do these attacks strengthen Hamas? Do these attacks by Israel?
They strengthen Hamas, definitely. Such attacks, I can confirm to you that, such attacks, it makes Hamas stronger by people. In 1 hour from now, there will be demonstrations all over the Gaza Strip, from the mosques, and from the south, from the north, from the Middle East, and there will be tens of thousands of people going out by these demonstrations, calling for Hamas to take revenge for the killing of those Palestinians. So I can tell you that this is strengthening Hamas, and this is empowering Hamas, and this is making Hamas more power, because people who have elected Hamas democratically, they want Hamas to defend them by firing rockets towards Israel. So I can confirm to you that this is something that Hamas is finding the support, despite the fact that all this killing and bombing and chilling. And people believe that, the problem is not with the rockets, the problem is with occupation. Because let us take example, in Bethlehem, in Jenin, in Nablus, in Ramallah, there is no rockets, but still occupation is existing. The apartheid wall is existing, and occupation is destroying and killing on daily basis. 45 Palestinians were injured, and 1 Palestinian was killed. Mostly students, they were coming in a protest in solidarity with Gaza in Hebron yesterday, and that shows that the Israelis are not really interested in any kind of peace or dialogue or negotiations. So there is no dialogue and there is no peace when it comes to this. But I can tell you that this shows that the Israelis they mean to make the situation miserable for the Palestinians. The excuse they are using is rockets, but in West Bank there is no rockets. Occupation is continuing, and that makes people believe here that the problem is not with the rockets, but the problem is with the occupation. Let me tell you here that I can also confirm to you that here the F-16s are quite hovering, and I can see 3 F-16s hovering. It might be that they bump any target in any minute. I'm not sure if you can hear that right now, but it is low actually, and I can see also the 2 helicopters on the other side as well, coming from the direction of the southern part of Gaza Strip.
Is speaking to us from Gaza, and Amira Hass, correspondent for the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, one of Israel's leading journalists, is on the line with us from Tel Aviv. Amira, do you hear reports like this in Israel, on Israel television or radio?
This is exactly what I thought when I listened to Mohammed Omer, that this kind of news is completely absent from the news, the news diet, the journalistic diet of Israeli, of an average Israeli. I, for personal reasons, am today in Tel Aviv and not in Ramallah, so I have not been listening to Palestinian or Arab radio and did not watch Arab TV. So I'm also, I was stunned by hearing Mohammed Omer, even though I talk all the time with my friends in Gaza. And this is indeed life here. Actually, I can report about how life 60 kilometers north to Gaza, how life is normal. How everybody, except of one demonstration yesterday that a group of left-wing Israelis held in front of the Ministry of Security, Israeli Ministry of Security, there is nothing. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yeah, you hear me, yeah. So there was one demonstration, and that's it, and people live their life.
And the perception of what is happening now in Gaza, the comment of the Deputy Defense Minister saying that they will launch a Holocaust, trying to get to be very careful. He'll bring he said, the more Qassam rocket fire intensifies, the rockets reach a longer range, the Palestinians will bring upon themselves a bigger Holocaust because we will use all our might to defend ourselves.
Okay, I must say that there is some misunderstanding here. Matan Vilnai was very, very insensitive to use the word, a word which is, of course, it is Shoah, what you all know is Holocaust, but in Hebrew it also means disaster. And here I tend to believe that he didn't mean to say that there will be a Holocaust. He meant that the Palestinians will inflict upon themselves, and that's what he said. The Palestinians will inflict upon themselves a worse disaster if they continue. This is the correct translation. Unfortunately, of course, he had to think about the words he was using, of course, because you say Shoah, it's not a neutral term anymore. But he didn't mean Holocaust, that's for sure. So I think that here we should be accurate. Then Arab and Palestinian media picked up on it and made all kind of other,
So Amira Hass, what do you see then happening now? Tomorrow, Condoleezza Rice is expected to arrive, the U.S. Secretary of State.
I couldn't understand.
What do you expect to see happening now? Tomorrow, the U.S. Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, is arriving.
Yeah, look, this is what is true is that Israel is opting all the time for an escalation. And I agree with Mohammed Omer that it only strengthens Hamas. Even though Israelis claim that what they want to do is to topple Hamas, actually, by the attack. And what happens is the opposite. So I tend to believe that maybe they only want to strengthen Hamas, and not only Hamas, but to strengthen those wings of Hamas or those currents in Hamas which oppose any sort of how would I say, ceasefire with Israel, and only opt for more struggle against Israel. Look, as long as Gaza is not separated from the West Bank, we see, even though the Israelis have succeeded, and unfortunately with the help of Abu Mazen and Hamas, have succeeded to disconnect Gaza from the West Bank, but the people feel it's the same people, and we see whenever Gaza is so atrociously attacked, people in the West Bank come out and protest. As long as Israel continues its policies of colonization and lasting, and at the same time negotiations which never come to an end, I think we can only wait for more escalation, maybe some weeks or days of tranquility, and then another outburst, another explosion. It seems like a perpetuum mobile of fightings and escalations.
Amira Hass, I want to thank you for being with us, correspondent for the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, speaking to us from Tel Aviv. Mohammed Omer was speaking to us from Gaza. He writes for several publications, including Washington Report on Middle East Affairs. His blog is rafatoday.org. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. We'll be back in a minute.